Sometimes it's not the big moments that change our lives. It's the small ones, the quiet decisions, the unseen kindness, the step no one clapped for. We live in a world that celebrates the big moves, the trophies, the titles, the spotlight. But the truth is, real change starts small. One small act can open doors you never saw coming. One small choice can change everything. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, a young boy was walking home from school in the rain. He didn't have an umbrella, didn't have a car waiting for him, just a long road and a cold sky. A stranger stopped, rolled down the window, and offered him a ride. That simple act, a few minutes of kindness, gave that boy hope. That boy grew up, finished school, built a life, and one day, when he was in a position to help others, he remembered that moment. That small act multiplied because kindness has a way of coming full circle. That's what we're talking about today. How one small act can change everything. It's the little things that shake the world, not always the loud or the grand. You see, one kind word, one small gesture, one moment of compassion. That's how change begins. A ripple starts with a single drop, and before you know it, it touches every shore. You may think what you do doesn't matter, but someone out there is watching, learning, believing because of you. When you lend a hand, when you choose patience over anger, or when you show up when it's easier to walk away, that's power. That's impact. The truth is, greatness isn't always seen in the headlines. Sometimes it's hidden in those quiet choices that shape someone's day, maybe even their life. Think about the teacher who stays late to help a struggling student, or the stranger who gives a smile to someone who feels invisible. Those moments echo louder than any speech. So don't underestimate what you bring into this world. Every small act carries weight. Every ripple you create can turn into a wave that changes everything. Be the reason someone keeps believing. Because what starts small with you can grow into something that moves mountains. Character isn't built in the spotlight, it's built in the shadows, in those quiet, unseen moments when no one's watching. It's in how you treat people who can't do anything for you, how you show up when you're tired, how you keep pushing when no one's cheering. Consistency is the backbone of greatness. Anybody can do something once, but it takes heart to do it every day. You don't become disciplined overnight. You earn it through repetition, through choosing the hard road when the easy one's right there. Think about a musician practicing scales, an athlete running drills, or a student studying late after everyone's gone home. Those aren't glamorous moments, but that's where the foundation is laid. The truth is, success doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. Doing the small things right, again and again, until they become who you are. Every rep, every decision, every act of integrity, they shape your character like a sculptor chiseling stone. You may not see the result today, but one day, when the pressure comes, your consistency will hold you steady. That's when you'll realize the small things you did every day were never small at all. Sometimes all it takes is one small decision, one quiet moment of courage to change the entire direction of your life. You might not even realize it when it happens. Maybe it's the choice to say yes when fear tells you no. Maybe it's sending that application, making that call, forgiving that person, or believing that you still have something left to give. Life shifts on decisions like that. Every great story begins with a single step, and that step usually feels uncertain, uncomfortable, even scary. But that's where transformation hides, right on the other side of hesitation. Think about the people who made history. Most of them didn't start with a plan, just a moment of faith. One decision to keep going when everything said stop. The truth is, your future is waiting on one small act of belief from you. You don't need to see the whole staircase, you just need to take the first step. That's how dreams begin, how lives are rewritten, how faith becomes reality. So when that moment comes, and it will, choose to act. Because one small decision, made with conviction, can completely redefine your path and everything beyond it. Faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just a whisper that says, keep going, when everything in you wants to quit. It doesn't take much, just a spark, just a seed. You see, even the smallest act of faith can move mountains, not because the mountain gets smaller, but because you get stronger. Faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting that the next step will appear when you take it. Think about it. Every dream ever realized started with someone believing before they could see. That student who studies in the dark because the power's out, trusting one day it'll pay off. That single mother working 2 jobs, holding on to hope that her kids will have a better life. That's faith in motion. It's not always pretty, but it's powerful. Life will test your faith. That's how it grows. Sometimes you'll be standing in the storm, but faith reminds you the storm doesn't last forever. So hold on, keep believing, even if it's just a little. Because small acts of faith, the kind that no one sees but heaven does, can shift your direction, strengthen your heart, and move mountains you once thought were immovable. The world doesn't change because people talk about it. It changes because someone decides to do something. Every movement, every breakthrough, every story that inspired the world began with one person who refused to stand still. You don't need to be famous, rich, or powerful to make an impact. You just have to care enough to act. Maybe it's standing up for someone who's been silenced. Maybe it's choosing honesty when lies would be easier. Maybe it's helping one person who can't give you anything back. Those choices matter. When you act, you give others permission to believe that change is possible. Think about the boy who stands up to a bully, the neighbor who feeds a hungry family, the stranger who risks something for what's right. That's how the world shifts, one act at a time. Too often we wait for someone else to make the first move, but what if that someone is you? What if your courage becomes the spark that lights 1,000 others? Don't underestimate the power of a single action born from love, conviction, or compassion. Because when you choose to act, truly act, you become the change this world has been waiting for. So today, I challenge you, don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for recognition. Just start. Hold the door open. Say thank you. Make the call. Take the step. You don't have to move mountains. Just move something. Because one small act, done with heart, done with courage, done with love, can change everything.